Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. This should make fluff too. Bo, you're a favorite on my channel. Your views are astronomical. Everybody, Bo Polny is joining me here. We're the analyst of time. Everyone calls him the analyst of time. You said God gave you that name, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty much how it went down. One of the greatest points or days of my life when I got a prophetic word from God. And he called me out by name, Bo, the analyst of time. And it kind of, and you know, as much as I have kids and everything, you know, to be called out by the Father by name, it was just, you know, life changing in a way. So I've, you know, so what I do now is I just do everything I can to preach the word, to let people know that God's in control. Period.
And good things are ahead, correct?
Oh yeah, because he's in charge.
He's
in charge. He knew what these people were going to do, so it was all by design.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Keto with Nino. Keto with Nino. Check this out. Many people today struggle to manage their weight, but this is more true than ever after the age of 20. This is because after the age of 20, our body's metabolism slows down as much as 4% every decade. That's a major risk to your health. Luckily, there's ways to help get the fast metabolism back and do it in time for summer. This amazing keto powder, for example, helped me lose weight faster than anything I've ever tried. It works by increasing the ketone levels inside your body, which in turn support boosted metabolism. With just a single scoop a day, I saw big improvements for my metabolism and weight loss. And this is true. I do use this. I've unlocked a deal with my audience. Hit the link below and get 51% off by clicking the link below, folks. Click the link below, 51% off. Thank you. Hit the link below. All right, Bo, let's knock this out.
Absolutely.
You said June 21st, something's going to happen. There's going to be a shift. An event's going to transpire. Something's happening. It's also the summer solstice. What's going on? I mean, we're getting close. It's time's ticking, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, so we are in the year of Jubilee. We've talked about this last time on your show. Why it's a year of Jubilee? Because it lines up with when Nixon took us off the gold standard. That was in August of 71. The second thing that happened, which is the ultimate thing that happened in 1971. On December 13th of 1971, Roe v. Wade was first argued in the Supreme Court. So that started the 50-year clock.
Wait, so that could happen. You're saying maybe by June 21st, that's what happened. Has it been?
No, I'm saying no. So it was December 13th of 1971 when Roe v. Wade was first argued in the Supreme Court. So we're in the 50-year cycle because God's year begins on Rosh Hashanah.
Right, and Roe versus Wade is coming back around again.
Right. So, we're in it right now. They're basically, Roe v. Wade, it was leaked out in April, the end of April, first day of May, that, you know, what the Supreme Courts were going to go in favor of.
No, but what I'm saying is, do you think it gets overturned by the 21st?
Possibly that could be the turning point, right? So that could be the event that ends up being the turning point. We don't really know. See, here's the thing is, I don't know events. And behind me, I was called as the analyst of time. So I calculate time using Daniel's timeline within the Bible and other methods. And so the point being is that I can calculate important dates, but I don't know what happens on those dates. So it's just like what I happened. So a perfect example, when Trump got elected, it was 1,260 days to the exact day. I said something huge is going to happen on April 20th of 2020. I didn't know what it was.
Careful with this language here.
I'm sorry, yeah. And so when he got elected, 1,260 days later, oil went to zero or negative $38 a barrel, the first time in history. So as freaky as that was, why would it happen? But that was a historic event, and it's never happened since. That's like just a crazy event that happened. And then 400 days later, you've got the center of end times form with all the moons and the stars forming, the blood moons in the sky. And then also, I think it was 1,260 days later, it was when Ginsburg had died, and I predicted the exact day that an event would happen, and on that day, Ginsburg died. Okay, so I don't know what happens on these dates. I'm just saying that they're important, calculated dates.
No, and I have
within the world. So God works on times and seasons, and so we are in a critical time and a critical season right now. That's the best I can tell you. And so, going to the summer solstice, if you took the year and you cut it in half, right? Where would you cut it in half? Well, you'd cut it in half at the summer solstice. Right? And so everything starting from that point forward, it's a change in the seasons, it's a change in the time, it's a change in the energy. Everything starts going opposite of what has been going on. And so what we've seen happen for the past weeks and months now is this evil regime just literally exploding and speaking like there's just complete arrogance about them. Like they being afraid or exposing the truth. They could care less. They are so arrogant.
They're going all
now.
in. They're going all in. And this is what 107 talks about many times. He says the occult uses these dates, these God dates, to overturn things and make it theirs, like to own them. Right? Am I right? So both sides battle for these dates.
Well, and that's true because God set the calendar, right? And when Satan is trying to figure out God's calendar because he cannot see into the future, he doesn't know what God can do. All he can do is read the Bible or see what's in the Bible. But so he knows he's going to lose, but he's trying to calculate the time. That's why, for example, they have Agenda 2030. Okay, because
be careful with this.
But that year is important. Why? Because if you go from you go from Revelation 12 sign, that happened in September of 2017. Okay, so so that was the birth of Christ in the heavenlies, but we know Jesus isn't coming back as a child, right? So that was only a marker in the heavenlies. So if you do 2017, you know from the Torah, a male child cannot be married until he becomes an adult. Simple, right? Children don't get married. And so in the Torah, it's called a bar mitzvah. I'm sure you've heard of it, right? Well, it's 13 years old for a boy. So that's right. That's when he turns into a man, 13. That's right. Yeah. So the legal age for and what are all Christians waiting for? A royal wedding. Okay. Now do not take this as in rock or stone of when this royal wedding can happen. What I want to be crystal clear on it's mathematically impossible based on God's timing that there cannot be any royal wedding until minimum 2030 legal time. And why is it legal time? Because the birth Revelation 12 sign was in 2017. You have to add 13 years for the bar mitzvah for the child that was.
So really everything is mathematical. The way you predict all this.
Exactly. And so why did Satan pick the year 2030 for their agenda, right? Why did it? Because if you calculate time, God picked 2030, where it's God's timeline that it cannot happen. There cannot be any royal wedding until the minimum of 2030. So that's
it's a battle. Right now we're in a battle of timelines.
Yes. So he's the great imposter. He's the deceiver, right? So what does he try to do? He takes what God has created and makes it his own. Why do you think there's the movie, The Wizard of Oz, right? And what's in the movie? The Yellow Brick Road. If you've listened to the prophets that have been to heaven or have seen heaven, guess what the roads are made of, the streets are made of in heaven?
Gold.
Okay, so why is there the movie The Wizard of Oz? Because he used to be in heaven until he was thrown out, and that was Lucifer. He's thrown out of heaven, given the name Satan. See, so he's a copycat. So he's trying to copycat.
He's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, well, it's all because the world is smoke and mirrors. The world's all smoke and mirrors. You know, why is this such an important timeline? Well, because we are about to witness what happened to Israel in the time of Egypt. That was the Exodus. We're about to witness the great Exodus. So what happened? So remember, and all of this is precedent. This is critical. All of this that's about to go down is precedent. Not, I don't mean president, but precedent upon God. Okay, because it's all God's timeline. God does everything in his perfect timing. Why hasn't anything happened, Nino, so far? You know why? Why hasn't any soothsayer, any prophet, any more, you know, all these people that you know, the psychics, all the people out, why can't anybody figure out when this is going to happen? And why haven't they been able to figure it out? Why? Because God said to me, specific to the prophets, was, two things must remain hidden, my son. Number one is, no one can know the day or the hour of this event that's about to happen, so that the enemy will be caught unprepared. The second thing is, no one knows the event or events of how this is going to play out. So what I can tell you is, what's going to happen is something historic, but not even, that's not a correct word, it's biblical. Biblical means like the Red Sea parting, and you know, and no one was expecting it, and 4 hours before that, they thought they were all dead. You know, Israel thought they're going to be killed by Pharaoh as his army was approaching. So we're heading into a time point where God's going to intervene. And why does God have to intervene? Because God gets the glory. You see, he's a loving judge. He's love, and he's judge, right? He's more love always. He's always love, but at some point he has to come out and judge. And so the world needs to know. See, it's just like the time of Israel. You know, they forgot that there was a judge. They start worshiping idols, you know, and so what do we do? Everybody in the world worships money. So the world's forgotten about God. And they all just worship everything but God, right? So what God has to do is intervene so that he can wake up the remnant.
It's first got to get so bad.
Yes.
So bad that we have nowhere else to look but to God.
Yes. Imagine if you were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? And you basically refuse to bow down to the idol, to the statue, right? And then Nebuchadnezzar he says, you know, get him over here, and he'd heat the fire up sevenfold and throw him in the fire, right? But their faith was so strong that they were willing to die because they were not going to bow down to that statue. And then what happened? Jesus Christ showed up. There was 4 in the fire, not 3. Jesus Christ showed up in the fire, and they came out of the fire not even smelling like smoke. Okay, so this is going to get uglier. Yeah, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get bad. It's going to be
summer of discontent.
Right.
It's going to be protests, riots, like coming into fall.
Right, and that's why Kim Clement prophesied strange July, strange July. So the reason it's strange July is because this is how in my heart, I believe it's going to play out. So we're going to have Roe v. Wade overturned here in the next few days, probably by the end of June. So Roe v. Wade will be overturned, maybe even on the summer solstice. That could be the turning point, okay? Then you're going to have massive riots break out, because basically when Roe v. Wade is overturned, right, this is the worship to Baal, okay? This is the demonic worship to Baal that's been going on for generations, right? And this is what's happened. God, like, imagine, I love talking with you because the energy that you have, you know, and people love listening to you. You've got a very big following of people who love your energy, because it's all, you know, world's about energy, right? And you've got a lot of it. People want to listen to you. And so imagine if you were God, for example, right? And you created everything, including humanity, right? So you could, and then humanity, who you created, turns their back on you by saying, hey, let's go kill everything God creates, right? So let's go kill his creation. And so that's what happened in 71. So that's why that's such a historic and pivotal time point, because of what happened in the 1971 was when Roe v. Wade was first argued before Supreme Court, and then 13 months later it became law. And so we basically turned our back to God. And what did God do? He turned his back on us. Okay. And so he became furious with us. So what's about to happen? So I want to read Leviticus 25, verse 10.
Do you want me to share the screen, or you're just going to read it?
No, I can just read it. If you want, I can share a screen. If you want me to share, I can. Yeah, can I share a screen here? Let me. Yeah, because you probably enjoy it. If you enjoy this, here,
yeah, there you go.
There you go. So this will be kind of fun. They're going to have a little visual as I'm speaking. So Leviticus 25 verse 10 talks about 50 years. So, and you shall consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of its inhabitants. So that's God stating that on the 50th year, you shall proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of the inhabitants. So why would there be liberty? Well, because we're at the 50-year time point since Roe v. Wade. So when Roe v. Wade is overturned here this month, okay, massive riots are going to break out, like we stated earlier, like like you're hearing as well too, okay? So these riots that break out are going to be because they're freak out sessions of this massive overturning that they've been basically doing. They've been worshiping this satanic stuff, and now it's been blood sacrifices here. So it's been disgusting what's been going on in the world for 50 years. And look what happened to the churches. Look what happened to the schools. Look how they take God out of all the schools. Like the whole world has moved away from God in 50 years. And now there's so much money in the world. Everyone just, it's like you go to the malls and you see line. Like, check this out, David. You see lines, people lined up to go into Gucci and Louis Vuitton and to spend thousands of dollars on a purse. Like, how sick is this world?
Yeah.
They're lining up to go spend thousands of dollars. Like, the world is sick right now. And this is what's happened to the world. And so God needs to intervene, because why? Number one, He's turned his back on the world. We've turned our back on him. But then God's what? He's a loving God. So on the 50th year, his fury ends.
And that's now.
Now. So in 50 years, his fury ends.
But it's going to get much, much worse.
Right. So now when God's fury ends, guess what happens? It's a table turning, right? So the tables turn on the summer solstice. So the tables turn, and what is God's going to do with his fury? He's going to unleash on who?
The deep state.
That's right. So now we got God unleashing on the deep state, because his fury ends. Because when we overturn...
So hold on. So let me just catch my audience up real quick. So June 21st, summer solstice, is when you think this shift's going to happen.
I think on June 21st, we're going to start seeing crazy things begin to happen, or it'll be a historic pivotal turning point in the world on or about June 21. So yes, I think June 21 is going to be very pivotal. My charts all point to that as well too. In that, as June's ending, the 21st, right around that time frame, everything's turning. And so the markets, so the gold, silvers, God's money begins to really get some movement to the upside. Everything begins to change. Interestingly enough, too, check this out, okay?
Pride,
so June is what? Pride
fall.
month.
Wait. Pride cometh before the fall.
You got it right there. Proverbs, you nailed it. Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride cometh before the fall. Pride cometh before destruction.
Gosh, did it really have that literal meaning, you think?
Yes. Go and just put in, those are listening, when you get later tonight, Proverbs 16 verse 18, and it literally states, pride cometh before the fall, destruction, or before the fall. So the point being is that nothing in the world is a coincidence, okay? That's what I've come to discover. Everything about God is by design. So all these words just happen to be perfect. Just like when the road to Damascus, the road to Damask, USA. All of these words are, they're funny biblical words that can be interpreted at present time as actually meaning something, right? So Correct. It's just interesting that, and then that flag also, right? Their flag, they removed the seventh color. Okay.
What was the seventh color?
Blue, number 5. If you look at the chart, you can see them in the blue.
They removed it?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, how many colors and now do they have?
Well, I guess if they move 5, they only have 6.
That's right. How many feet are you supposed to be apart?
Okay.
Okay. The Google logo 666, right? The CERN logo 666. So all
interesting, man. Wow.
Everything's hidden in plain sight. Satan is visible in plain sight. He just hides himself. Isn't that?
You gotta know he's gonna lose. I mean, I don't understand.
Well, yeah, I know, but he knows he's gonna lose. He knows he's never going to heaven. So what is his agenda? And I thought about this, and this is what his agenda is: to take as many souls with him as possible. Okay, so that's because he knows he's a defeated foe. He's never going to beat God.
And then we get 1,000 years of peace, correct?
Right, so we're heading into 1,000 years of millennial reign. So that's called basically back to the wedding that we talked about, right? And the wedding cannot happen until minimum 2030. But then there's a second part to that equation, right? Which is the bride, which is us. So it says in the Bible, the latter rain will be greater than the former. The former reign was the time of the apostles, okay? 2,000 years ago. So the latter reign, which is us, we will be greater than the former. The Pentecost was when the Holy Spirit came down and repowered up the latter rain. And that happened on Pentecost of 2020. Okay, so 2020, the woman does not become the child girl does not become a woman until 12, bat mitzvah. Which means that if you add 2020 plus 12 years, the minimum legal age that anything can happen would be 2032. Because both the male and the female have to be of legal age to get married.
So
that's why Satan's using this year, but he forgot to calculate. He didn't know when the woman would turn. Right, so that's why he picked 2030, but minimum he's off by 2 years. And then the other part of the whole equation was Christ resurrected at age 33. So you actually have to add 33. If you want to go crazy, you can add 33 years to the Revelation 12 sign, and that takes you to 2050.
Got you.
See, so the legal time for a wedding, the earliest would be 2032. The minimum, because the woman because the woman child needs to be of legal age, and then we could have to wait. Possibly, we don't know because no one knows the day or the hour. So that's why I'm not calling the time when Jesus returns. But I'm saying it could be as long as 2050 because he might come back the same age when he left. We don't know that, right? So we don't know all these things. That's what Revelation. It's reveal of mysteries, right? So they're mysteries. But I'm telling you, what we're seeing right now is the birthing of this new era. And so what we're seeing right now is this harlot who's in full control. Okay, so what is the harlot, right? The harlot in Revelation talks about, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads are how they control the world, right? Through the church. So
family, financial, education, entertainment, government, and media. And then I see your Queen Elizabeth up there, huh?
Yeah, exactly, because she's technically the top of the pyramid. So she's the top of the pyramid, and so expect her to go down this year because basically it's basically stated that what happens when God intervenes, and we're also going to see the BRICS nations come together as one. You're going to see the fall of the harlot. They're going to come against the harlot and they're going to destroy the harlot. So you're going to see all this fall, and they're going to destroy the harlot. And then in a few years from now, and this will be the birth of the new era. So we're going to have a window of time. We will have a window of time to prepare because you're not stopping Revelation. You're not stopping the things that are coming upon the earth. You cannot stop what's coming because this event that's about to happen is third seal.
Okay. How many seals are there again?
There's 7.
7. Okay.
So the third
we're going into the third seal this summer.
We're going to see the third seal, which is the greatest financial event in human history.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So which is the birthing of God's finances, right? So what are God's finances? It says in Haggai 2:8, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. And what's coming is, see, when you read Deuteronomy, we are to be the lenders to the nations. David, what did they do to us? We became what? The slaves.
We're the
slaves. Okay. So what did Satan do?
They've enslaved us with debt.
Exactly. But they've made us think we're free. See, so that's why Satan this time around is a little wiser than he was in the time of Pharaoh, because in the time of Pharaoh, Israel had chains on. They knew they were enslaved, okay? This time around, this is nothing but an exodus again. This is the great exodus, the worldwide exodus is about to come. But because the world is enslaved, they don't know it because they think that having a 30 or 40-year mortgage is normal. The world thinks that having a $200,000 student loan is normal. The world thinks that having 3 or 4 or 5 credit cards is normal, right? And so they've enslaved us. They create the money out of thin air, and then they basically make us think that this money's real, but it's all like we talked about, behind the curtain, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. It's a smoke and mirror system, and it's all an illusion. That's why, that movie came out a long time ago, Red Pill, Blue Pill, right? And so once you take the red pill, you can't go back because basically you discover the whole truth. of how this world works. And so we're stepping into a third seal moment, which is the greatest financial event in human history. It can be described as Proverbs 13:22, the wealth of the sinner. Who's the sinner?
Us.
No, right. The sinner is all them that have been controlled, that have been making all this money, right?
Okay.
The wealth of the sinner is stored up.
But we're all sinners, right? I mean,
we're all sinners, right? But then you got to go categorize who's worse, right? Those that have been drinking the blood, right? That have been killing, or those that are just trying to get by. I
gotta say that's worse. Yep.
Right, or those that are just those of us that are trying to get by through this world of deceit and being lied to. Yeah, we're all sinners, but we're not what they are. They've bowed down to evil. See,
they've sold their soul completely.
Correct. Why think about this, right? Jesus Christ is on the earth 2,000 years ago. After he gets baptized, he goes into the wilderness, and Satan approaches him, right? And what does he offer him?
The world.
Bow down to me, and I will make you what? King on this earth. How could he do that to Jesus Christ? Because Adam and Eve let Satan on, and he had and has dominion on this earth, okay? That's why we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities of darkness, right? So Satan actually had the authority to offer it to Jesus Christ, and Jesus, went right back to Scripture. Get behind me, Satan. You gotta love it, right? Just slammed him in his place, right? But the point being is that these people, they bowed down. So when we talk about evil, these people are working for Satan. So Proverbs 13:22, the wealth of the sinner. I'm talking about the evil ones that work for the evil one. They've bowed down to him and they work for him. And so these people, all of these people are working, and who are they? Deep state, big brother, whatever you want to call them, okay? But they're all working together as one. That's why whenever anything happens, none of them ever get caught, go to jail. That's why it drags on forever, because they all got the secret handshake.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah,
handshake. They all got the secret. The secret.
They're all in the club.
They're all in the club. You know what I'm saying? They all work together as one, right? And that's why Mr. T, as an example, if he returned tomorrow, this is what I want your viewers to get in their heads crystal clear. If Mr. T returned tomorrow, nothing would change. Now, I repeat, nothing would change. Why? Because the entity that offered the earth to make him a king, Jesus Christ, is still in control, okay? So until that entity is knocked down and shown who is God, who is king, who the real king is, and that's the Father, the Son, Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, until that Trinity, until that Trinity appears here. And I don't mean like I'm showing up on earth right now for a wedding. I'm talking about, manifesting in events. There's going to be events that are going to transpire that are going to be of biblical magnitude, of earth. Kim Clement called them the 2 E's: earthquakes, eruptions. Okay, so these people have bowed down to evil. They're working for evil. When Roe v. Wade is going to get overturned, Proverbs 13:22, God's going to what? Turn his back towards his bride, towards a remnant, and he's going to, and his evil and God's anger will be thwarted against us, because we have now overturned Roe v. Wade, and God's now going to direct his evil at the evil one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So once we overturn Roe v. Wade, that's when God comes back.
Correct.
Is what you're saying, basically.
That I'm telling you, nothing.
Because also Roe versus, what I've always told everybody is abortion is nothing more than a sacrifice.
Yes.
To Satan himself. That's what this is. It's energy for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you watch some of these sickos in Hollywood. They're actually making Twitter things about them drinking it, and the cool.
Yeah, they're sick.
Like these disgusting people. So
they're godless. They're godless. They're completely godless.
But how do they do it? Because very simple. They control the 7 hills we talked about. They control these 7 hills. So all the 7 hills are controlled. And so now we're heading into a really powerful time point, because we're heading into summer. We're heading into the 3rd seal of Revelation. There's a prophetic word is, so the 3rd seal is 2 things. It's a black horse, and the rider has scales in his hands. So when was the last time, David, that we really saw at a very powerful time point in the Bible where the scales were discussed? It was when Belshazzar saw the writing, literally a hand came out and wrote on the wall, and it said, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. He freaked out because they were basically drinking out of the gold vessels from the temple, and he didn't know what it meant. So he called up Daniel to interpret the writing. And what did the writing say? You've been weighed in the balances and found wanting. What that means is your financial system has been weighed and out of balance more than you could ever imagine. So they've created so much money, and they're out of balance with God's money, gold and silver. So the financial system is so out of balance right now. It's you can't even, like, they think they created 17 or 18 trillion dollars in the past 2 years.
Jeez.
Okay, it took 100 years to make the first trillion.
Wow. And in the last 2 years, 17 to 18 trillion.
Yes. And it took 100. So that's why is the stock market up, right? It's supposed to be crashed, you know, so because when you create money, you pump it in the markets, right? Even though it's crashing, it's still up, right? You know, the stock market should be to 5,000. You know, my target for the Dow could be 7,000 to 8,000 this year because this is a crash year. And so everything they've done is about to fall apart because God's going to intervene. But the point being is, it's two things. It's scales. So you've been weighed in the balances and found wanting. This is the best part. Your kingdom has come to an end and will be given to the Medes and the Persians. So translate to present day, their kingdom has come to an end and will be given to God's church.
I love it.
So the scales represent Proverbs 13:22. The wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Now, this is interesting. The black horse represents death.
The death of the market.
Well, yes, but something even better.
The death of the deep state.
Yes, you nailed it, David, because you nailed it. Because what happened at the time of Pharaoh, right? The angel of what showed up? The angel of death showed up and killed all the firstborn of Egypt. And all the even animals. So think about it. So if you had a family of, say, 3 or 5 kids, right? Only the firstborn of every family was killed that night.
Yeah.
So by that event, it's very crystal clear that God did it. You see what I'm saying? Because how can the entire nation, only the firstborn die? Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
In a family, it wasn't the secondborn or the third. No, it was the firstborn of every family died, including the animals. The point being is that, so what we're supposed to see is the angel of death show up. Now, I don't know what that means. But those that want can click that on page 26. You can click that video link right there, and you'll see a prophetic word of Ken Christmas basically just laying it out of how the angel of death is going to show up this year before year end to literally destroy and take out and finish these and many more.
Oh yeah,
gone. They will not be.
The
prophetic word is, I do not believe they will be here by year end.
So you don't think they'll be here by Christmas? That's going to be everyone's Christmas present.
And what did Kim Clement say? And Winter says, I will make you happy, says the Lord.
Wow, so we can all get on with our lives.
Well, for a season.
Nightmare.
For a season, because remember, we got to go back to the seals, right? We're only at 3rd seal, which means that we're going to have a breather. We're going to have a
I like how you threw Rachel Madcow in there.
Well, there's more people in there we can add as well, too. I just wanted to give you a brief. Yeah, no, but she was prophesied to, yeah, she's there, and there's so many others that are in there. But the point being is, all of this is biblical, and all of the glory's got to go to God. So back to, if Mr. T showed up tomorrow, nothing would change, because what would they say? Impeach, impeach, impeach. You can't, because a man cannot take on Satan. I'm clear about that. We through the name of Jesus Christ, we can rebuke him. He can bow down to us. But my point being is, this is a massive system that has been going on around the world, and we need, trust me, we need God.
100%.
And the world's going to come to realize. So when you see earthquakes, like this prophetic word is, San Francisco is going to go have a massive earthquake, okay? And there's going to be earthquakes popping off, or volcanoes in in Italy, Mount Vesuvius is supposed to blow. It blows well again too. So there's going to be earthquakes popping. So that the Kim Clement, the two E's, earthquakes and eruptions, right? So we're going to see. And why will we see that? Because Roe v. Wade is overturned in June.
Wow.
Massive riots break out, but the prophetic word is the riots will be short-lived. Why short-lived? Because God intervenes. Why? Because God's going to turn his wrath, his vengeance on the deep state, on them. We'll see earthquakes, popping off, volcanoes popping off across the globe. And what are people going to do? What's going to be more important, the volcanoes that are blown off or Roe v. Wade? You see, so Roe v. Wade becomes unimportant.
So is that like, in theory, would that be like the devil being angry with the earthquakes and eruptions? And
no, well, I don't think that goes. The people that are the people that are involved in all of these riots basically back off. They're like, forget that. I gotta go check on my family. I gotta see,
okay.
Right? They're like, forget that. I gotta go.
Other things become much more important.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's why the riots get short-lived and evil gets thwarted. So the word is evil gets thwarted. All of their plans get thwarted, get stopped, like hitting a brick wall.
You watch them and they're so arrogant. And so, you see them now, the confidence is high, the arrogance is high. And that's why I also put that together with the LGBTQ stuff. Pride cometh before the fall, because they're all very prideful right now. They think it's done. They're going to take out America. Right now is when they're going to take out America. They're going to take our head off right now. Like, we're coming to the time, which I agree with you, is this year where they're getting ready to make their big move, and it's done. And they feel they won.
You're right. But the thing is, you got to go back to prophecy, because what you're talking about is prophetic. So you're talking about prophecy, David. You're talking about the fall of the harlot. You see, so their financial.
Do you think that she could die? She's probably going to die this year, right? If she's not already.
Yeah. So the prophetic word is that the royals will go against her, and she's supposed to die. So that's the prophetic word. And then everything that Babylon stands for, because basically this goes down to the fall of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great has fallen. So that's this slide right here. That's written in Revelation 18. Babylon the Great has fallen. She's become a dwelling place for demons. Am I wrong?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm saying, could you she's become a dwelling place for demons? Like, isn't that like the most accurate description?
100%. And there was a lot of symbolism when Trump was with her and he was walking in front of her. Remember that?
Yeah. All of what's going on is biblical and by design. And so we're about to see the fall of the harlot, which it's several things, but the same thing. The fall of the harlot is the same thing as the fall of the Daniel 2 prophet, Daniel 2. If you read Daniel 2, verse 34, and a stone carved out by no human hand takes down Babylon. What is Babylon? Babylon, in the simplest definition, is the control system of humanity. Okay. This statue has been around for 2,500 years. It goes from Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, the papacy, the United States, and the statue still stands. The point being is this statue cannot stand when God births his kingdom. The kingdom is about to be birthed here as June ends, as we head into July. So we're heading into the summer solstice. We're going to see the fall of Babylon the Great. And why is this important? Because if you look at childbirth, right? So God's calendar, so our year starts when? January 1. That's called man's calendar.
Right.
God's calendar is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah would be our January 1. Okay? So God's calendar, Rosh Hashanah, last Rosh Hashanah was September 6th. Okay. So September 6th of 2021 was Rosh Hashanah, which would be equivalent to man's calendar of January 1.
Okay.
So when does a mother give birth? At about 40 weeks.
Right.
Okay. So you look at 40 weeks. So you go from September 6th, 21, 40 weeks, and you arrive at 2 days ago, June 12th.
Right. Wow.
So my point being is that when a mother has a delivery date, that's a delivery date, not the actual date.
Right.
So what we're looking for is the birth of God's kingdom here on earth, God's intervention, because it's been spoken to me several times that God's going to birth a new era. A new era, basically, very in its simplest form, describes something very powerful, because basically, if these things fall, the church, the family, the financial system, the education, government, entertainment, and media, they fall.
Okay.
Then
they have to do. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So then you're going to get a new church, a new family system.
All of that right now, what people are seeing is that it's all captured. All of it.
Yes, all captured. You talked about the last time we talked about that. It's all captured. So all this. So when this falls, we're going to see the birth of a new church, the birth of a new financial system backed by gold, God's money, gold and silver. So this year comes back to gold standard. So we're going to go back to a gold-backed monetary system this year in the United States. Okay, the family system is going to change. You're going to go back to,
Are you on board with that Nasara Jasara?
No, I think that's a big scam, because that's of man. Okay, there's nothing in the Bible about that. So that's my best take. But the Bible is very clear about the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. It talks about in the Bible that the gold, the silver, and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. There's nothing about God talking about Nasara Jasara. That's a man-made venture to basically distract people. And this is in my heart feeling, is to distract people from buying gold and silver, because basically, if you believe in Nasara Jasara, you can go buy some funny paper and not buy any precious metals, and you're going to miss out on the greatest financial event in human history.
And you think that's going to happen June, July?
I believe it starts.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting now.
Yeah, so I believe we're about to see it's going to pop off and then blow vertical, and then by the end of the year, we'll probably easily, maybe even sooner. I don't know. I can't give prices; they're hard, but I would suspect basically the Bible says blessings are 30, 60, and 100-fold. So I believe, before the end of this year, the 6 months, right, we're going to see the first level of blessings at 30. So you got silver at about $21 right now. Okay. So 21 times 30. So we're at 600 plus $630 silver before year end. Wow. 30-fold multiplication. So those that are waiting for Nasara Jasara are going to miss on the greatest financial event in human history. Am I right or wrong? I don't know. I don't care if Nasara Jasara is going to happen, not because I got precious metals, and I could care less if Nasara Jasara happens. But I can tell you the last big time I heard about Nasara Jasara, everyone talking about it, Bitcoin was under $100.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Right. So understand this. Be very clear to this. Last time this happened is in 2011, 2012, 2013, right? Bitcoin is under $100. I was under $200, right? I dropped four figures I dropped on the dinar junk, And the point is, if I would have bought Bitcoin, I would have been worth billions today. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So my point is, they're talking about it again, okay? They're talking about it again. And silver's $20. Please listen to what I'm saying. Distraction.
Okay. No, that makes sense. What's your views on crypto? On like all the other stuff like when XRP?
No, that's a great question. When gold, because wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous, right? And so even though man created cryptocurrencies, right, they're not controlled to any degree where when the deep state loses control of everything, cryptos are going to do very well. Why? Because they're honest ledger. They're you know how much Bitcoin there is in the world. It's an honest transaction, right? That's why they've hated it since 2011. Gotcha. Because it's honest transactions, right? And they can create as much money behind the closed curtain that they want all the time, right? And so here's why, so when you go to a gold-backed monetary system, gold, silver-backed monetary system, so I could mail you a coin and pay for something, right?
Right.
Or I could click a button and send you something. It's not so bad if you're in the US, but if I want to buy something out of Germany, right, it's a little difficult to be sending gold or silver to Germany, right, or another country. So that's why you're going to have blockchain, which is going to be directly related to the new financial system. Okay.
Got you. Okay.
And until Lucifer, so we're going back here. We got the harlot. Right over here, you got the beast system, the 10 horns. When the 10 horns begin to ride, okay. So you're going to have the fourth seal open, and then eventually, after about 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and to the end of part of this decade, you're going to have the beast rise. Listen to me carefully. The beast rise. The beast. This is the mark of the beast system. You don't want to be anywhere near cryptos then, because you're gonna need the chip to log into the internet. So that's why it's so incredibly important to have precious metals now, because you
believe an actual chip is coming.
I would say probability is yes. I think
we still haven't hit that yet, so that's coming.
No, because see, this is why everybody's talking about the mark, right? It's the wrong time. See, I analyze time. Okay, this is the wrong time. The evil system, the beast system, cannot ride until the 4 horses are riding. The 4 horses of Revelation are the first 4 seals. Okay, we talked about we're only at 3rd seal. The first seal was Corona. 2nd seal was peace taken from the earth, the red horse. That was when Pentecost. Now was when the latter rain was birthed. The 3rd seal is going to happen right now, this year. And then we have a grace period, and then later the 4th seal opens. Okay, so the beast system. Say again.
What's the 4th seal again?
Is plague and pestilence.
Oh, great.
Okay, so plague and pestilence is right, and that's why people will then take the mark in the future, because they've lost they didn't prepare financially. They didn't listen to you or I talking, right? They didn't have precious metal. They don't have cryptocurrency, so they have no financial means. They lose everything. Okay, they're out there basically, and they release some other crap, right? And so people now are in this world freaking out about the plagues and pestilence that are upon the earth, right? And basically, there's going to be a time of Joseph, where you have 7 years of plenty, which ran, that lead into 7 years of famine, right? So pestilence is going to lead to 7 years of famine. So people are going to be, in a bad way, and so to eat and feed their family, they're going to do what? Take the mark.
Or take the mark.
Right, and so that's why it's so important to prepare up front, so you never have to, go to that scenario and be concerned.
You're saying there's going to be like 2 timelines running side by side, or
no? There's going to be two realities. There'll be one reality. So when this event,
but you'll have people taking the mark, and then you'll have people living free and clear.
Yes, yes. So we are to be in the world, not of it. So in the future,
how do we know what cryptocurrency is going to take off? I mean, it's like a gamble right now.
No, it's not really. The top 20 coins are nothing to worry about. They're great coins. Just don't be buying coins that are 2,000 down the list or something like that. But the top.
So where does just my personal question? Where does XRP fit into this? Does it?
I don't know. XRP is a tough coin. Everybody's like, there's all these people that are fixated on XRP.
Yeah.
The problem that I got with XRP is I bought it years ago when it had four zeros behind it, right? So that's when I thought it was a fun coin to have, right? Now, it's like 30 cents or whatever it is, or 40 cents, whatever it is. I haven't looked along in a while. But the point is, it's fun when these coins drop 2 zeros. Okay, it means they have like a 1,000-fold move, right? That was fun when I watched that happen, right? So the problem with XRP is technically it's a coin that the bankers use, right? So when the banking system becomes a big problem, I don't be surprised if XRP because it's going to get mixed up with their crap. Okay, so
Bitcoin is the way to go.
Well, Bitcoin's it's granddaddy, right? So it's like gold. It's the way to go, but it's the slow one, right? What's fun are the little kids, right? So there's Ethereum's kind of like granddaddy too, but it's pretty good. Ethereum's going to go good, but there's a lot of coins that are in the top 20 or 30, right? That are like in the low price point, right? And so those things are in the next few years forward, right? Are going to drop zeros, meaning like 10. 100-fold increase, 1,000-fold increase. Like you're talking stupid prices, right? That are going to come to these things, but that's going to tie in directly with gold and silver as well, too. Particularly silver, because silver is going to go insane when the technology factor comes in for the use of silver as well, too. Because what they've hidden from us is technology, right? We talked about not about Musk, right? But about what's his name? The real Tesla. What's his name? from a couple decades ago, right? The real Nikola Tesla, right?
That
guy discovered technology that was insane, right? This technology could basically run cities on pennies a year. So there's technology that's hidden from us that we're not supposed to know about, but these technologies are going to need mainly silver to run. That's just like when they created the nuclear bomb, right? They needed silver to make it.
Right, correct.
Right? So silver is the magic ingredient for everything that we're not supposed to know about.
Interesting.
So all these, when the new era is birthed, and we're at 40 weeks as of 2 days ago, June 12, no one knows the day or the hour that a mother gives birth. We can calculate 40 weeks, but we don't know the day or the hour.
Right, correct.
Right? That's same plays in the same thing. No one knows the day or the hour God's going to jump in and move. So we don't know, but something's about to blow here. And I do know that the year of Jubilee, the year of the Lord's favor, because really the most important word out of the whole Bible is I can reference is right here. This is critical to understand. It's this Isaiah 61, the year of the Lord's favor and day of vengeance, because God is what? Love. But at some point he has to come out and judge. So what does Isaiah 61 state? The Spirit, this is what Jesus Christ, he walked into the temple. He opened the scroll, David, and he read this, but he didn't read the last line. Here's what he read. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. And he stopped there. The reason he didn't read the last part of it was because it wasn't time.
Got you.
The last part is, and the day of vengeance of our God. My point is, God needs a day. There is going to be one day between today and before the year ends, September 25, that God intervenes. It's probably closer to now than September because we're at 40 weeks now. Get it? So it might be 42 weeks, 41 weeks. I don't know, but I'm telling you, God's going to intervene here really soon and definitely way before September 25. September 25 is the last day of God's year because September 26 is the next Rosh Hashanah. So we're in the year of the Lord's favor. Here and now, we're at childbirth, 40 weeks, 2 days ago. And the other part, which I think is kind of interesting too, if I share this screen, check this out. What you're seeing here too is on this screen is Isaiah 61, if you read the Torah, Isaiah 61, if you calculate it out to the year 2022, it was read in the temple this Saturday, coming Saturday.
Read meaning?
Jesus Christ read Isaiah 61 in the temple. The biblical date would be this coming Saturday, June 18.
Wow.
3 days later is the summer solstice. So I'm not saying anything has to happen on the 17th. I'm just saying the day that Jesus Christ read Isaiah 61 in the temple is this Saturday. And what are we waiting for? One day of vengeance where God intervenes, puts us on it, like we described, the planes crashing. And rather than we pulling up out of that crash, God actually opens, like we joked with this on the last interview, the ground opens up, a massive hole opens up. We go through the earth and come out on the other side. That event that's impossible becomes possible. That event is when God intervenes. And then from that point on, Mr. T can show up anytime. But
has to come from God first. This all needs to come.
It all has to come from God first. And then most importantly, right, there's a calculation here that I want to show you and your viewers as well too. And this is kind of interesting because God showed this. He showed me this in a dream. And that night before I went to an opera in Vienna and I got a ticket. And it was 124, and it freaked me out because I knew that's like a biblical timeline. I go, God, what are you doing? Like, why you give me a ticket? I literally went to the ticket counter and gave me a ticket. 124. Freaked me out, right? Like, what? How does that happen? So that night I go, God, why are you showing me this, right? And so he showed me in a dream. He goes, this is the stock market cycle. And you take 1, 2, each one can represent a month. So 1 month, 2 months, 4 months, 4 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 month, 2 months, 4 months, 4 months, 2 months. He showed me that you roll it into a circle and you create a cycle. So that's exactly what I did. So then if you look at this right here, right over here, this is when Trump gets elected, right over here.
Okay.
Black day. Markets pop up. You start the 4 cycle, and then you go 421, 124, 421. Look what happened here. On 124, on December 24th, 124.
You figured all this out from a dream.
Yeah, God showed me it. He showed me it. I didn't figure this out. God, I don't want credit for it. God showed me this. So this is what freaks me out, because this has been accurate for 2 years and 3 years now.
Wow.
It's freaky. So he showed me the cycle. So basically the stock market, it's always crashes on the 1. Okay, so it crashes here on the 1.
Interesting.
Okay, so it crashed on the 1 on December 24th. You can go check all this. This is the Dow right here, right? And then the Dow popped back up on the day after Christmas. And it went back up and around the 124, 421 cycle. And then I basically interview here with Greg Hunter on February 7th. I said, Greg, the stock market's topping right now, and it's going to crash roughly 30 to 40% next month in March. And Greg's and the viewers went crazy. Oh, he's full of it, right? He's insane. Not going to happen. David, the market crashed 38% the next month because it was the 1 straight down.
Wow. Where are we at right now?
So we're right here. So this is May.
This is
and so we're hitting on the 4-2 collapse in September.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And guess what happens in September? God's year ends. So
how long do you think we stay down right there? Like how long do you think?
So then this goes into.
Then the mark of the beast comes in right after that.
No. Then we have 3.5 years of party time, joy, massive worldwide celebrations. Everything that they did to us turns on their head for 3.5 years. These people will be finished. Everything's going to be falling apart for them. They're going to run for the hills, hide. It's like what happened in the throne of Pergamon, which is the throne that was sitting on Mount Olympus. Okay. That was disassembled and reassembled in Germany, and then Hitler showed up. Okay, so these people will reappear as the beast system with a new color, new name.
Oh, so they're just going to come back.
Yes, because we're in end times. You're not stopping Revelation. Okay, but by that time,
but we're going to celebrate for 3 years. But it's going to be like
but the celebrations will be ability for us to separate ourselves, to become in the world, not of it. So we will have means. So we'll be living in beautiful resorts. So think of the big picture here is, David. Remember, so now let me ask you a question. Let's put you back. Let's put you in the position of God. You're God. Your son is Jesus Christ. You know there's a wedding coming. So would you beat up your son's bride before the wedding?
Of course not.
Okay, well, that's Revelation is beating people up. It's a destruction, God's vengeance on these people, right? Mm-hmm. It's on them. It's not on the bride. It's not on the bride of Jesus. So that's why we're tucked away in beautiful 5-star resorts.
Could we say we'll see tribunals?
All of this that's going to happen this year. That's why, see, there is a Supreme Court ruling out. If you can Google this, it's called Fraud Vitiates Everything.
Okay, well, let's be careful with that on YouTube.
Okay, it's a Supreme Court ruling. And so you can Google that. And what that means is when it is discovered, it goes back to not the time it's discovered, but the time it occurred. Which would be 1 January, right? Okay. Everything gets wiped out in a heartbeat. Every signature, everything that was done gets wiped out. The military will step in. You're going to have the military, and then you're going to have Mr. T just walk right back in. And that's why last show I basically stated to you and your viewers, you're going to have both party systems fall apart. They're going to come together. Why? Why did they come together? Because God's going to intervene and destroy the financial system. Okay, this is a big problem. Okay, when the financial system breaks, okay, we're talking trillions of dollars. This is like a big problem. Okay, you need someone of mental capabilities to rebuild that. Understand, when $1 trillion system breaks, you need someone with massive amounts of mental ability to rebuild and put back together something that will work. And that's why if the parties will come together.
And that's why they're baking on the Great Reset for that not to happen.
Right. They want to
happen.
Well, they want to take it down.
For them.
They want to take it down their way. No, they want to take it down their way.
Right.
Realize that by them taking it down their way, God's got a magic 40 Mr. T card, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna flip the tables on them when they try to take it down on us. He flips the tables on them and turns it on them and breaks them. He breaks them.
Basically, if this was a casino, God's the house.
Yes, he's the house.
He's the house, baby.
So then, okay, right now, you got to do the welcome to the apocalypse. Come on, do it right now. Do it. Come on.
Coming at you live for the apocalypse, folks. Yeah, brother. Oh, Bo Polny on my show. Love it.
Love that. That's exactly it, David. That's how this goes down. God intervenes. He gets the glory. The two-party system will have to be forced to come together because the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the financial system that breaks, you're going to have Mr. T to come back because he has the mental capability to rebuild it. He knows what bankruptcy is and how to handle it. He knows how to rebuild what's broken financially because he's been in the financials forever, right? And then all of that, all the system, us, the political system under Mr. T, we're all under God because God gets all the glory for what went down this year. He had it all planned from the start. And then we get 3.5 years, 4 years of grace, of immense happiness. We're in incredible times that we can, position ourselves, prepare ourselves for the things that are to come in the future because we're not stopping revelation, but we're not to be a part of it because we're the bride. And we don't get beat up. They do.
Bo, thank you so much for joining me. This is going to go on FluffTube tonight. I'm going to premiere it tonight. You're welcome to come on. I'll have you coming on every couple of weeks, and we'll keep doing this. And you're the time analyst. So I love it. So all this, we can put the pieces together. My audience loves this stuff, and I do too. So thank you, Bo.
I appreciate it, David. You are a true blessing. God is using you, David. God is using you. You don't even know. God, he's positioned you for such a time as this. You attract a massively large audience of people who have this incredible energy, that love your energy. And that's why God gave you that energy. And he positioned you for this moment. And therefore, you do what you do, and you are a blessing to the people around you. So thank you for all you do.
Well, I've been used by everybody else. I don't mind being used by God.
Now God's using you. Come on. You can't. What better blessing in the world is that?
I love it. Bo, man, thank you so much. And I'll keep in touch with you. This is going to premiere tonight. Man, interesting times are coming ahead. It's going to be biblical.
Yes.
God bless you, Bo. I'll keep in touch with you.